Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is episode 76. I am so grateful and so blessed. I have my friend Elizabeth here with me today, and we met on a retreat. So, Elizabeth, will you introduce yourself?
Absolutely. I'm so happy to be here. I'm Elizabeth, and I'm a holistic coach, and I really help people in getting in their truth, which is always their power. And so I bring many modalities into doing that, including my background in corporate coaching, but also really working with the space. And I don't see us talking about the space enough and the wellness spaces and like the space that we met. And so I'm really on a mission to bring this aspect of the home being the body that holds the body more into the conversation of embodiment and healing and nervous system regulation. So yeah, we could talk all more about that, but I'm excited.
Ooh, girl, brilliant. The body that holds the body. Okay, so girl, okay, here's a couple of ideas. What constitutes a good home for you? What are you looking for in a good, beautiful, supportive home?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is that your home is mirroring back to you who you're becoming, not who you've been. There's no perfect feng shui. There's no perfect color. I think it's so beautiful as you dive into really just like the outfits we wear. I was actually thinking, just getting ready for this, of, how we feel in our clothes is one thing, but like how we feel in our space is a whole other thing. And if it's not reminding you your values and supporting the unconscious mind with your thoughts, your feelings, leading to your behaviors, I mean, we know this conceptually, but I think just really deepen the awareness of, is your environment reflecting back to you? Like, or first, let's just sit with, what is it reflecting back to you? And then stepping into seeing it as a tool. It's a vision board. And even our daily practices that we use in this space is a really, really powerful tool to see it as a moving meditation and see it as an energetic clearing that can open up more opportunities and more possibilities. And even, I'm a big fan of the morning pages as well. We've talked about that, but it's like I see it also working in this space as like connecting new neural pathways and seeing things differently and being able to, as a result, do something differently, which we know that's actually the tangible, uh,
Yes.
yeah, something more tangible we can work with from an experience.
Yes. Yeah, like that's the end goal to be who we want to be. Right. So why not set the stage, right? Like kind of like when you said it's a vision board, that like really struck me. And how many people even take the time, number one, to sit down and do a vision board? Like we can talk about it, but how many actually do it? And then number two, how many like do their house, their home, their office, their bedroom, even if you're living with other people or something, what can you do? Like, what can you do to reflect future you?
Yeah, I see it. It's very similar. If you're familiar with Dr. Joe Dispenza,
Yes,
we love him.
we do.
And, he talks about the quantum field. And I see this work as bringing down the quantum field into the 3D so that we can jump the timeline. And so it can be really simple. It doesn't have to be, we throw out everything. It's not a Marie Kondo. I feel like it's
Yeah.
actually, or maybe it is a Marie Kondo meets self-worth, because
Mm.
it's also of like, not what brings you joy, like what is mirroring back to you your worth. And what we do is we strengthen the muscle memory when the chair is not actually holding us, or that chair is actually not comfortable. We
Yeah.
let go of the chair, we strengthen the muscle of also letting go of the people or circumstances that are also not supportive. They just look good, or they've just been around forever, or they were passed down by Aunt Sally. And
Mm.
actually, we don't want it in our space. And so I feel like it just helps as we work with our space, we also really get to work with our boundaries, and also, and our as our boundaries strengthen, we're more contained, and so we become more magnets. And then I think we also have a deeper like self-worth, like that also. And when that's reinforced, our power comes online. And
Game over. Yeah.
then we don't have to worry about nothing.
Right. Ooh, girl. Okay, this is so good. The letting go. It teaches you how to let go, which also teaches you what your values are, like what's really important to me at the end of the day. And therefore, what are my boundaries? Like if this is a yes, what's the no? You know what I mean? And then the container and just the practice, it's like, okay, if I can get rid of this paperwork or these old clothes, or like you talked about the sentimental like traditional family things, that's like generational healing, that is ancestral work. And that is so profound, and I think you and I are probably like the generation that is from the baby boomers, girl. And so every generation we want to be like better, smarter, healthier than us. And a lot of it is about letting go.
Yeah, and there's a letting go, and I feel, the thing that comes up when you say that, and back to just the whole thread of that, is the faith that comes online before we let go, and the connection to our ancestors and to the lineage that we are come from and are here, many of us, to heal, to stop. It stops with us, and that requires yeah, really, really looking around and taking inventory. I got into this work because I noticed in the coaching field, I was coaching full time in corporate, and I was just noticing we were getting stuck in our stories. And it's so easy to tell yourself this story, and every day maybe the story is a little different, or it changes, or based on what happened right before the story is activated. And I just kind of got fed up with the maze of the mind. And
Mm.
it really helps, a supportive coaching tool, especially when we're coaching holistically or integratively, which means anything that's happening in your relationships is also happening in your business, and anything that's happening in your business is also happening in your body. Anything that's happening in your body is also happening in your home. And so for those that aren't ready to maybe fully get in the body, the home is, or the space or the office, wherever we're working with, it's such a great way to have access to stay with something until we can transcend it, which is really rooted in
Mm.
digital psychology, because we can't transcend unless we stay with. We have to pull the thread of the quilt until the quilt comes undone. And I think we're so good in this day and age, especially, where if you don't say it in 3 seconds, you lost them. But like we're like ba ba da ba ba dee boop boop boop,
Yeah.
and just helping people. Let's just stay here. Let's just stay with this trash can and where it's positioned. And let's just talk about that, because even that can open up so much that can support us in every area of our life.
Mm. Girl, that is deep. Okay, first of all, the faith, right? In order to jump off the cliff and make a move, you need to have faith. Like before I start recycling and donating and giving everything away, faith that this is the right move. Spirit is telling me, asking me, like encouraging me to do this process, this detox. And then staying with what you have. It's like start where you are. So many times we want to like skip steps or just jump hella far. And it's like, okay, girl, you could significantly change your creativity, your focus, your gratitude by just like Tetris, rearranging your situation. And then the neural pathways, like you talked about, are like playtime. Like this is a new playground. Like, let me see what I can do now.
Absolutely. And we're looking for answers, right? And the answers are all around us. It's just like with wisdom, like where if you're looking for that, like that is found. And I feel there is something to this process where it just deepens our awareness. And whatever you're doing in a practice, or if you have any, I loved my Zen teacher said it perfectly when I was deep in my many dark nights of the soul. And that is the awakening process. And she told me, may your suffering be the catalyst for your awakening. And I feel
Mm.
like when we are able to just have deeper awareness, even to our suffering, and maybe it is looking at that stack of bills on on the desk and what's unconsciously that is just reminding us of. And
Yeah.
if we could just work with one bill at a time, as our awareness deepens, our consciousness rises, and our circumstances more positively change. And I think that's just such the power of, open your glove compartment today and just
Yeah.
see what you find and stay with that.
Yes. Stay with it. Girl, this is so good. One of the quotes, like, I love you in your quotes, and you're doing the artist way, the morning pages. So Elizabeth is writing regularly, and I love seeing her written things online. One of the things you said was chop wood and carry water, and a lot of it is just like, stay here, work with what you got. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course we want to fly and win, but like, can you can you find comfort in the discomfort? Can you
Mm.
stay here? Because that's like your container. That's your nervous system at the end of the day. And if you can't handle it right here, what do you think is going to happen when you get on a plane, or you go on vacation, or you go on a retreat, or you're like with brand new people and the plans change? Like, are you going to be able to handle it, or can you start practicing right here?
And even building on that, when you chop your own wood, like you get warmed up twice. And I think that's a big part
Ooh.
of how I work with people is giving their power back. Like, there's an innate knowing when we really start working with our space and we start bringing these, I see it as clearing the channel. I think we can clear the channel with our morning pages and writing every morning. The
Uh-huh.
Artist Way has been so pivotal, which is why I lead and offer groups. I'm actually turning it into a membership, which is super cool because I realized after several cohorts, we were doing each week, each theme each week, but it's just not even scratching the surface. So I'm going
Yeah.
to change it and then do each theme each month and have like a full-on deep dive of those themes because those themes will set you free. And it's all
Ooh.
about coming back to who you've always been before we were programmed to be something we're not. And once we can get out of that program, then we really find our enlightenment, right? Or our lightness, or our truth, or our art, or our expression. And so bringing those things together can also be found in the space, but it's found in our day-to-day choices as well. And so I think there's choosing to show up for yourself every morning and just starting to write. When I was first given that, she was like, don't even read The Artist Way, just start with the morning pages. And that itself was enough because what happens is it deepens the awareness, like we're talking about in the space, but you really get to show up for yourself every day and you get to sit in your truth. And you get to see, like, some days I don't even know how I'm feeling until I start writing. And
Mm.
then I start writing, and I'm like, daggone, that actually really upset me. Or I had no idea you felt that way, or like, dang girl, you in love. And it's just like it's so fun to because
Ooh.
I myself don't even sometimes have access. I mean, we're all humans.
Yeah.
So it's just finding more tools to have access to ourselves every day as we walk ourselves home.
As we walk ourselves home. Yeah. I love how you opened with this too, the truth, period. That is all we're looking for, and light is information,
Mm.
right? So when we talk about enlightenment, it's like, okay, do you have, like, are you seeing the greater scheme of things, the big picture? Are you seeing with like an eagle eyes view? And that's going to help you find the truth, literally. And then you'll be like, oh, well, this is what's truly important to me. Just like when you're writing, I've been writing my dreams for the past like couple of months, girl.
Mm.
Yeah, and that's been a common like recommendation for folks on the spiritual journey is like, track your dreams, girl. Put it in your notes app. Do what you got to do, right? And then you'll start seeing themes. And so the morning stream of consciousness, when like nothing has touched you, I feel the most peaceful first thing in the morning. Like, that's my favorite part of the day, personally.
Absolutely. And I love your tracking your dreams because both the morning pages and dream tracking are working with the same realm. Because the idea is you start writing before your ego mind wakes up and is like, coffee, bam, 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 bam. And we get to connect with like that that part of us that is waking up from the dream state that can help us have really access to the unconscious mind or still in that theta state. And so what you're receiving in your dreams is that's so powerful to like then really be able to weave them together because it's the unconscious mind. It's a processing. Like, what are you processing? What are you working with? So I love even pairing those two things together.
Yes, that's beautiful, girl. I love this so much. Every moment is a reminder. Every moment is a reminder or a reward. We said that before. I just have all these quotes written down right here. But yeah, every moment is a new opportunity to like take a fresh breath, to like look around your house, to, look at your body and be like, okay, am I tense right now? Or are my shoulders kind of tight? Does my stomach hurt? Like, how do I actually feel? And then, like you said, with how you do anything is how you do everything. Like, okay, well, am I rushing in business? Like, I think about your corporate coaching, and there was a quote that I saw today, and it's like, basically rushing around with a wrecked nervous system in a Chanel suit. And I was
Mm.
like, ooh, and how many like boss bitches are like running around, but it's survival in a Chanel suit. And I was like, damn. So, it doesn't really matter like what level you're at because the game is always coming home. Like it's always the same endpoint. That's the goal, to come home and feel hella comfortable and safe and like provided for on your own. You know what I mean? Like me, myself, and I'm solid.
Mm. Yeah, and that quote really hits me too because that was me. And to when you say come home, it's like coming home to yourself and coming home to the part of you that never has to, at some point I had to get really honest with myself of like I was working for the God of money and that's not
Hmm.
the God I serve. And so I
Yeah.
think there is like some. Yeah, when you really open what your values are and what's most important to you, every other answer gets like so clear. And I think it's oftentimes we're just kind of haven't paused enough to even take in our space or take in our space or even take in our breath.
Yeah.
As a breathwork facilitator, I was just reflecting the other night that like I don't know if I even start my breathwork sessions by asking people to fully breathe in all the way down. Like I'm talking, make your belly as
Yeah.
big as it can go and breathe from like your sits bones and then pull your belly button into your spine and like really do a few breaths like that. And I think so much of us, we're just breathing up here. And
Yeah.
of course, we're having a more shallow experience because the capacity of our breath is the capacity that we can hold life. And when we make more space for things, just starting with our breath or starting with our entryway of our home, we get
Yes.
to make more space for more opportunities and more awareness.
Girl, that is so beautiful. Yeah. The capacity we hold breath, the capacity to hold breath is the capacity to hold life. Girl, yeah. Because that's it at the end of the day. Like when you're like, for example, like I was in surgery for my babies for C-sections. And it's like, okay, girl, like you're paralyzed with this medicine. So the breathing is the only thing you can do right now. And I was like, all right, Anna, like you're gonna survive, like you're fine, just breathe. And I was just like, all right, like this is it. I'm literally like, I can't move my hands, I can't move my legs. Like this is what we're doing. Or like even like if you have nausea, like stomach pain or something, right? Like a lot of people hate that. Or you're having a difficult conversation and you're like, all right, Anna, like the only thing you can do is breathe right now. Like you're not going to die. Everything's fine. Or another one, like in the fun, because we can learn from pain, but we can also learn from love and joy. We can be like radically transformed in both of these like charged situations on different ends of the spectrum. But for me, it's like salsa dancing.
Mm.
And some of these teachers, like the men, are so good. And they'll just be like whipping you and like dipping you. And I'm like, okay, Anna, like breathe, breathe, breathe. Like you got
Wow.
this. He knows what you're doing. You know how to move. Like you breathe. That's like, don't count any steps. Don't trip about your feet. Like you just breathe, girl. And like, it's just like always the answer, you know?
Because the answer is here and now. And the breath, nothing will get you more in the here and now than the breath. And allowing yourself, that's such a beautiful visual of you being like taken by I'm just picturing this beautiful salsa partner,
Yeah.
just just catering to you,
I'm
it's
like,
like, wow. And yeah, like I hear you taking in the breath. It's like taking in that moment. And that's the beautiful thing about dance or any
stay
art.
here. Yeah.
It's just here, right now. Just stay.
Yeah.
And then we just get to practice that expansion of, yeah, letting it come through us and move through us. And the breath. I see the breath as obviously life force, but when we talk about feng shui and we talk about the home, it's the same thing. Or when we talk about breath work, it's the same thing. We're working with the same, it's a universal force, the thing that has many names but remains nameless. It can only be felt. And when you walk into a space or when you walk into someone's presence and it is deeply felt. And I think that's ultimately just returning to the breath is a perfect like first step to feel yourself first.
Mm. It is the perfect first step and the last step on the way out, like your exit, like that's what it is.
I mean, right? It's the first thing we do and the last thing we do. Is that what you're talking about? The exit?
Yeah, right.
Like
So
the
girl, in
final
between, you
exhale?
you
Yeah, girl.
also need to do it the whole time in the middle.
Don't stop.
Girl, this is so good. Like I can't even. This is just like the tip of the iceberg. Okay, well, I love this. This was packed, girl. Okay, so give me any final thoughts, anything that you want the people to know now.
Yeah, I think what's top of mind, I'm about to hit post on a Substack and a LinkedIn article, but what I shared with you at the start of this conversation before we were recording is really asking ourselves the question of, do we like who we're becoming as the world crumbles? I was
Oh,
asked so casually, and I was like, damn. And and at first it was like, shit, the world really is crumbling. And then I was like, you know what? I do like who I'm glad I've made the decisions I've made. So I am more in alignment with like, let it crumble. Like we're
yeah.
here for this. And crumble can mean many things. But I think in our own way, like crumbling is a death and a rebirth. And I think we can all feel our own season of that, even if we're just focused on the season of spring and feeling for me personally, I've had a very frozen winter. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
find feeling a little bit of like, I'm still here and spring is the energy is moving. And I think that's another like just bringing it back to our tools and our practices. Like nothing is more important than our practices. And even if your practice is vacuuming or morning pages or tracking your dreams, like whatever it is, just double down on your practices because that is the only thing that's going to really keep us in our truth and keep us in our power
Mm.
and keep us together as well.
Right. Yeah. Double down on your practices for grounding, for clarity, for remembering your values. Like, I started these intentionally because I know they work for me. Let me not abandon them. Right. And then when the world is crumbling, like, are you proud of who you are, girl? Because remember, like, you set yourself up. You've got a really sweet self care routine. Okay. Like, stay here, girl, and like all is well, right?
Yeah. And I think it's also like who you're becoming. And I feel like that becoming is in the practice. That becoming is in the sweeping off the porch with intentional, I love like, just going back to even pagan times and I love this ancient wisdom of feng shui, but they used to sweep outwards to release and just like our breath, like sweep inwards to call in. And so even like, I don't know, just returning to this ancient wisdom for modern times, right? Like this is going and like the herbalism class I was sharing with you, like going back and really tracking the the history before the history is, I think, how we're going to get to return to nature, which ultimately is feng shui as in itself. Like, fun fact I'll leave you with is when you walk into a space and your nervous system drops, it is because all five elements are represented. And so the more you can even work with the elements, which is a returning to nature, which is the only thing that actually heals. And whether it's herbs or it's, your nervous system, but really getting out of the quick fixes and like staying in the practices and truly devoted to our own healing so that we can continue to be the ripples of love that is going to be part of our shift.
Yes. That's profound, girl. Okay, one quick question. Give us the five elements in feng shui because a lot of us are astrology girls. Will you give us the five so we can think about that in our space?
Yeah. So it's fire, wood, water, earth, and wind.
And wind. Okay. Good girl. Ooh, so wood, earth.
Well, let me show you this.
Yeah. I love your bookshelf. Color coded.
So this is actually from my acupuncturist, and we get to like see even these is I've used this from a workshop recently, but
Ooh,
when you and I said wind, I'm sorry, feng shui stands for wind and water, but metal is the fifth
metal.
element.
Okay.
And when you get to like it literally is traditional Chinese medicine, but for the home. And then you can understand like wood is a rectangle, fire is a triangle, water is like wavy objects that don't have, and then you can understand like the circles and the squares. That's the circle is the feminine, the square is the masculine. And so you can just start to see the elements in the space based on their colors and their shapes. And that is what designs a space with so our nervous system can drop.
Ooh, yeah. And are they equally represented? Like one is not more important than the other. And that's when the nervous system is like, oh, okay.
There's that. And then the next layer is with the mansions lineage of feng shui. You use what's called your gua number, and that is based on your birthday. And that is actually where, if you really want to nerd out, you can bring in, for example, my element is fire in feng shui. I'm a Libra in astrology, and fire and air, right? Like amplify each other, but then also designing a space with your element in mind. So in my space, I don't have a lot of reds. I'm not very activated. And actually, because water puts out fire, I take showers in the evening, and that helps kind of put out my energy to help me sleep. And so, as you learn more about your element, you can also design a space with your element in mind, and also design your rituals that support who you're being in the space so that we can design your life with this vision in mind, which brings us back to full circle of this conversation of bringing who we're becoming into our space.
Who you're becoming. Yeah. Oh, girl, the different layers to like really curate your life, it's just like so beautiful. All these different modalities. And
And
I,
even the directions too. I feel like that's just another, like we connected in such a nature forward space and, having a connection to all of the different directions, I think is just another way we can start to work with the unseen. Because I think that's where our humans are evolving. We're moving past the five senses of what we can see, feel, touch, and we're evolving into multisensory beings. And
yes.
so it's no longer going to be a woo-woo conversation, which I think actually is a derogatory word for power.
Right.
Um, it's going to be more of a conversation of we feel this. This is deeply felt. Whether you're too numbed out to
Yes.
feel it or disconnected to your emotions, it's still here. So
Not my
are we going
problem.
to work with it or not?
Right. I don't need to explain or prove anything. It is felt. Okay. So we're going to do something about it. Um,
That part.
Girl, okay, so good. I'm in love. I can't wait. This is like the rabbit hole that I love. Okay, so Elizabeth, how can we keep in touch with you? Tell us how folks can follow you, connect with you. Yes.
Yes, I am on Instagram as I am Elizabeth Armistead. And my website is elizabetharmstead.com. We're doing a revamp right now of the website, which is really exciting. And I'm also launching my YouTube April 5th, which is yeah, I know,
Oh my God, I can't
a
wait.
long time coming.
Girl,
That's what I'm talking about. I'm feeling the spring.
feeling the spring. The fire is here. Yeah, girl, let's be YouTube friends. And I'm seeing breath work, I'm seeing feng shui, I'm seeing like home, like witchy practices. Like I'm seeing a lot of magic, girl, for your YouTube right now. And yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait till we get to hang in person. By the way, Elizabeth is in Los Angeles, people. Okay, so if you're in California, if you're in SoCal, if you're taking a trip out to the West Coast, connect with her. And she has virtual options as well with her membership and now the YouTube and the socials. So many ways to connect with Elizabeth. But thank you, girl. This has been such a joy. Like, I'm lit up. Thank you.
Thank you. This was amazing. And yeah, I think just it's really special the way we met, and it's really special, like the good word that we get to support each other and sharing. So thank you so much for having me on. I'm really grateful for you.
Oh, likewise, Queen. Okay, you guys. Well, we'll see you on the next one. Check the show notes for all the details and the references. And we'll see you next time. If you're looking for the most ethical, powerful, and magical fucking aromatherapy on the planet, so you can be a better bitch and just like totally fucking taken care of, I got the shit for you. I created this skincare line as an extension of my high school senior project. All natural aromatherapy experience because that's what we did back in the day. On our priestess bad bitch queen shits, we used oils, the purest fucking oils that not only penetrated your skin, it anointed you. Waking up first thing in the morning, clearing yourself between meetings before you pick up your kids, that's the kind of shit I'm on. Almost like if you were saging but you don't need a lighter. So let me introduce you guys. These make beautiful gifts. A holiday gift, for a Valentine's gift or a galentine for your clients, a sister circle, somebody's birthday coming up. I also have an affiliate program. So if you want to sign up and you want to be a brand ambassador for Align with Anna, you get paid. To learn more about that, please go to alignwithanna.com/get paid and let's grow together. You can also shop wholesale, Etsy, and Shopify. As a mom, as someone who really values her self-care and her routine, I use all of these daily and it's gonna come in a sweet little box. I will put some beautiful tissue in there. I love you. Thank you for tuning in. Shop today.